Hi everybody, welcome to a very special episode of Allison Bakes Your Day. This week it's Thanksgiving. So yes, today is the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. I am making this right now. It's happening. So this week I'm making Peter's Day, my husband, because he loves pumpkin pie. It is one of his favorite parts of Thanksgiving. So we are going to make a pumpkin pie completely from scratch today for you to enjoy. Here's all of our ingredients. Let's do it. Okay, we are going to start with our sweet short crust pastry. So we've got flour and our cold cubed butter. We are going to pulse this in a little bit at a time. Get in there, add in a little bit more and a little bit more. If you don't have food processor, you can do the pinch and rub method like we've done with other things, but it's quick and easy this way. Getting all that excess flour off. We are going to add in our powdered sugar, and I have some cinnamon and nutmeg and a pinch of cloves in here and a little bit of salt because I like to add some of that pumpkin pie spice to my pastry crust. Pose to combine. Great. Add in this egg yolk. This is going to help bind it all together. Now we are going to have to add some water because this is definitely not going to hold together. Transfer this to a bowl. I have 4 tablespoons of cold water in my little measuring cup that I got today. I'm going to add a tablespoon at a time because you don't want it to be too wet. So we are just going to pour in a tablespoon. Using a knife, we're going to cut it through the pastry dough. Definitely going to need to add more water. I'm going to do another tablespoon. Bring this together with my hands. It does feel a little wet. It wasn't really coming together, but now it feels a little wet. So I am going to add a little extra flour. It's just a balancing act, you know. Sprinkle a little bit on here. You want it to be a soft, pliable dough, but you don't want it to be so wet that it's sticking to your fingers. You need a good balance there. I can tell because now it doesn't want to stick to my fingers anymore. And it's forming this nice smooth ball. So whenever you can get it nice and smooth and it's not trying to stick to your fingers anymore, that's the right consistency. It's got a good balance of wet and dry. Wrap this in some cling film. So clingy to itself. Plastic wrap is a little narcissistic. It just likes to cling to itself. It's like, I'm amazing. Wrap it up like so. In the fridge to chill. Keep it cold. Let's move on to the pumpkins, shall we? We don't use canned pumpkin in this house. No canned pumpkin. I can't even remember the last time I did canned pumpkin. Ever since I learned how to just roast and puree things. Never bought the canned. We're gonna cut this bad boy in half. Not very easy. I'll start like this. Point the knife away from myself. Be smart. Go all the way around. There we go. If I had better knives, this would be easier. But this is how I do things because I have normal person knives, not chef knives. The struggle is real. Aha. You got it. Haha. Sometimes I just use the weight of the thing that I'm cutting because why not? All right, nailed it. You're gonna save these pumpkin seeds for roasting. Amazing. Using a large spoon, we'll scrape out the innards. You wanna get all this slimy, extra dark orange stuff off. Oh. Flinging things, as usual. Try to separate the seeds if you want to save them from the guts. Obviously this takes a while. Just gonna pull all the innards out. I'll separate the seeds later because it's taking too long. Too long. Nobody wants to watch you separate seeds, Allison. It's boring. I like to cut this down off after I've already cut it in half so I don't lose too much of the actual pumpkin. Preheated. Now that we have this beautiful pumpkin that has been scraped out, you are going to coat this with some oil. I do it the easy way with my coconut oil spray. You want it to caramelize, and that onion helps. That onion that oil helps it. Onion? Where the fuck did onion come from? Oh, I think I just dropped my first F-bomb on the show. F-word. I'm gonna line this with parchment paper. You can use foil if you want, if you don't have parchment paper, but if you don't, get some parchment paper. It's helpful. Place this really loudly, face side down. You're gonna stab the skin a little bit with a fork. Don't stab your hand. Create some steam holes. This is great if you're stressed about seeing your family for the holidays. Just aggression on the pumpkin. There you go. Once you've murdered your pumpkin, you have both sides face down here. You can stick it in the oven at 350 for 45 to 50 minutes. So I'm gonna finish all these, get them in the oven. Bye. Well, 2 of the pumpkins are done. I put the other larger pumpkin halves back in because they needed a few more minutes. We've got our pastry crust that's been chilling for over an hour. Take our lovely little pastry crust and, oh, get more flour than that. Get our pastry crust out here. Chill from the fridge. Ow! Rotate, bait it. When rolling your pastry crust, try to keep it to the center. Don't roll off the ends. We don't want to bloop. I got my cute little tart pan. It's got a removable bottom, so you can take it out nice and easy. Lift this up off of here and put it, oh fuck. Well, that's fun. Oh, we're gonna stick this back in the fridge to chill for a little bit. That was ridiculous. Work quickly, work quickly. Ah! Come on, Marble, you're supposed to keep shit cold. Do your job. You had one job. Working quick. Stop that bad dough. I mean, you're delicious, you're amazing dough. Shush, never change, except be better at your job. I'm nervous. Okay, here we go. Dun, dun, dun. Don't break, don't break, don't break, don't break, don't break. Nailed it, ha-ha. And we lift and we tuck and we patch little pieces. Do, 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 so that it looks pretty. Press it into the flutes. That was a flute. Did it sound like a flute? It's okay if it didn't. Don't lie to me. Just tell me. No. Now that we've pressed this into the fluting, we are going to do a fun trick. Ready? Da-da-da. And voila! It cuts off all the edges, and now I'm French for whatever reason. Just do a little extra press into the fluting. Now this has to go into the fridge. Oh, we're back to French. It's going into the fridge for 15 minutes to chill and harden so that butter is nice and creates flakiness. Okay, I shall stop doing my terrible French accent. Okay, into the fridge it goes. We have our roasted pumpkins and we need 10 ounces total. So I'm gonna scrape this into this bowl here. Just try to get 10 ounces worth. It's still warm, it's still hot. It's still burning to the touch. Passion. All right, so this is 15 ounces here, but this is happening before where I've started with like 16 ounces and then after I've done all my pureeing and whatever, it comes out to like 8 and I'm confused and sad, befuddled. More than enough pumpkin. Remember this fun little gadget? We're gonna puree some pumpkin. Here we go. And now it's at 14. So see, even just doing that, it like decreased. Set this offside to cool a little bit. Pie crust is chilled. Crumpled up some parchment paper and filled with pie weights. This weighted amazingness is gonna go in the oven for 15 minutes. While the pie crust is baking, we are going to make the filling. So, 2 eggs. Cabinets, always cabinets. The original recipe just calls for regular sugar, but I added a little brown sugar to give it an extra deliciousness. Ah! You need these. Like Michael Jackson said, beat it! Add in your melted butter, milk, beat it! Now I'm gonna add in all my spices. I have cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, cloves, and coriander in here. So I add a little extra something for a little bit extra flavor. Just gonna scoop in 10 ounces. Beat this together to combine. Now we have a nice, delicious custard base. We have removed our pie weights, and we are gonna stick this back in the oven to set a little bit more before we add the pie filling. 10 minutes. We've cooled this slightly. We're going to add our pumpkin custard we've created. We're gonna fill it right to the very top. We have boosted the oven up to 425. We are going to put this into the oven for 10 minutes. Then we'll reduce it back down to 350 and cook for another 35 or 40 minutes. We'll see how set it is. Okay, here we go. In the oven it goes. Oh God, it's so full. Oh God, oh my God. Haha, we did it. I actually ended up making 2 more tiny little pies with the leftover crust and filling that I had. So yay, it all worked out. I like to make fresh whipped cream, but I like to season mine with honey and cinnamon because that goes very nicely with a pumpkin pie. You can find that in the description and the recipe below. But thank you so much for joining me for a Thanksgiving episode of Allison Bakes Your Day. I hope I baked your day. Check me out on Instagram to see our reaction later today. Thanks for watching.